So the last time we were together, we were talking about profit maximizing, right? Like where the company should produce in order to profit maximize. Well, all right, what I want to talk about now is, okay, what's actually going on if they're profit maximizing, right? So like, if just because you're profit maximizing doesn't necessarily mean like you're actually like making tons of money. It just means that you're doing the best you can. So I want to talk about the kind of different rules that apply here, right? So let's say a company is profit maximizing, right? And so they're doing the best they can. So what does that mean? Well, it means that they're producing where their marginal revenue equals their marginal cost, right? And again, marginal revenue equals demand, average revenue, and price. Okay, so they're producing where MR equals MC, all right? MC. Try it again. MC. Okay, so so we know that they're going to produce right here, right, where the two curves intersect. They're going to produce at Q1. Okay. The question is, though, are they making a profit or are they taking a loss? Like, what's actually going on here? Okay, so in order to know if they're making a profit or taking a loss, we need to include our average total cost curve and our average variable cost curve. So let's put in average total. Now I'm trying to be very specific about how I draw these curves, but it's kind of hard to draw them on like using the program I'm using. This is the best thing I can find so far. Okay, so I want to make sure that you understand that average total cost curve is minimized at marginal cost. Okay, so it's at the lowest it's possibly going to be, right? When I add in average variable costs, okay, same thing for ABC. Right? And that's a terrible curve, right? So ABC should be minimized at marginal cost and it should get closer to ATC as we go up. So that's our average variable cost and average total cost. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about whether or not this company is actually making a profit here, right? So how do we know what they're doing? Okay. Well, if I go from, let's see, let me grab a different color here. If I go from my quantity, okay, and I go up to my price. So if I start here at my quantity and I go up to my price, right? That red vertical distance all the way up to the equilibrium there, okay, all the way up to that equilibrium, all the way up to the equilibrium, whatever, close enough. You guys get it, okay? And then if I do that, okay, that's the company, that's the price. And then if I multiply that price by this horizontal value, right, then I'd get the area of this red rectangle. Well, that red rectangle right there, that would equal that's my total revenue. Okay, that's the firm's total revenue, right? Because it's price times quantity. Okay, now if I do this, if I go up from quantity and hit the average total cost curve and go across, okay, this green box right here, this green box, that would be my total cost. Or sorry, not green, this yellow box would be my total cost, right? Now I know, okay, again, guys, like I know that yellow and that red line going vertical, okay, I know that they're not going the same spot there, but they should be, okay? Like that, all of that is all on the same quantity, right? It's just me not being able to like draw straight lines and perfect lines with my fat fingers, I guess, in this program. So if I remember what the formula is, right? Your total profit equals your total revenue minus your total cost. Remember, profit is a pie, right? Minus your total cost. Okay, so if I take that red box and subtract out that yellow box, then what I'm left with is all of this like green rectangle in between the two, right? I'm left with this green rectangle, right? That takes up that entire spot right there. That green rectangle, that's my total profit, right? And in this case, the firm is making a profit, so like that value is going to be a positive number, right? So that's a firm making a profit. Now, how do we know, like ways that you could, like if I ask you, how do you know that this firm's making a profit? There are several ways that you could say it. One way you could say it is total revenue is greater than total cost. Okay, that's true, right? Another thing that you could say is that average revenue is greater than average total cost. Okay, that's also true here, right? Because look, our average revenue is right here, right? And our average total cost is right there, okay? Or you could say, since price equals average revenue, you could say that price is greater than average total cost. And that's actually what that's actually what I'm gonna say most of the time, is that price is greater than average total cost. That's what I would say. But you can say any of those three things in black, right? Total revenue is greater than total cost, average revenue is greater than average total cost, price is greater than ATC. So this is a firm making a profit, right? Now let's look at a different scenario. Let's look at a scenario where the firm is taking a loss, okay? All right, so again, right, all that same stuff is gonna be on here, right? I'm not gonna put everything on this curve, but remember this is marginal revenue equals demand equals average revenue equals price, okay? So, all right, and then I'm gonna add in my marginal cost curve, marginal cost, okay, this is quantity down here, this is dollar values on the y-axis, okay? Where the two curves intersect, that's gonna be our quantity, Q1, okay? And what I'm gonna say now is that this firm is taking a loss. So I'm gonna put my average total cost curve here and my average variable cost curve here, all right? Now this firm is taking a loss. How do I know this, okay? I know this because if I go up from quantity here, right, and hit my average revenue curve, this right here would be my total revenue. That red box would be my total revenue, right? If I go up from this quantity and hit the average total cost curve right there and go across, okay, this box would be my total cost, right? Because think about it, it's my average total cost times my quantity, right? So that'd be my total cost, right? So the yellow box is my total cost, okay? And then what's left would my profit is always total revenue minus total cost, right? So what's left would be this green box here, right? But this time my total cost is greater than my total revenue, right? So all of this green box right here that I filled in, okay, every bit of that would be loss. This firm is taking a loss here, okay? So how would you, if I asked you to explain this, how would you know this for sure? Well, one way you could say it is total revenue is less than total cost. Another way you could say it is average revenue is less than average total cost. Another way you could say it is, and this is the way that I will say it most of the time, is price is less than average total cost. Okay, so that's how we know this firm is taking a loss, right? Now, one other thing I want you to notice is that, well, actually, you know what? We'll come back to that later. All right, so this firm's taking a loss. Okay, and let's look at a different firm also taking a loss. All right, so that's another firm taking a loss. All right, let's look at this firm taking a loss here. All right, this firm is also going to be taking a loss, but it's going to be different than the one we just did. Okay, so let me slide over here, I'm eventually going to draw another graph to the right of this. Okay, so this is our marginal revenue and price curve. Okay, this is our marginal cost, quantity, and dollar values. Okay, this firm is taking a loss, so again, ATC is going to be above our price. Okay, AVC now is above our price. Okay, and it's supposed to say AVC. AVC. Okay. All right. So this firm is going to produce where marginal revenue equals marginal cost, right? So they're going to produce right here at Q1. Okay. This is going to be this firm's total revenue, right? That box right there that I poorly drew in there. Okay. This is going to be that firm's total cost. Okay. That box that I drew in there, right? And then total cost minus, or total revenue minus total cost, right? This would be what's left over is this green box right here, right? And again, very poorly drawn, but it's that whole box, right? Going all the way over here to the y-axis, so all of that's included in it as well. Okay, but every bit of this box right here is this firm's taking a loss, okay? All right, so what I want you to notice is, this is different than what I just drew, right? So what I drew a second ago was a graph that looks like this. Marginal cost, marginal revenue, okay, and price, okay, all right, marginal revenue and price, all right, and then I have ATC up here, and then AVC down here, AVC, AVC. All right. So again, both of these firms are taking a loss, right? Both of these firms, it's true that price is less than average total cost. But the one on the left, what you should notice is that the price curve, okay, the price curve is below a VC. And while over here, the price curve is above AVC at our quantity, right? Because our quantity on this one would be right here. So at that quantity at Q1 on the right side, or I'll call that Q2, at Q2, okay, so I'm terribly drawn to, right? The price is greater than average variable cost. All right, so the firm on the left, they can cover their variable cost. The firm on the right, they can't. Now, let's think about what the difference is between the two. Okay, variable costs are things like employees, right, and raw materials. Okay, this firm on the right, they make enough total revenue, right? So their total revenue is this box right here, this red box. They make enough total revenue to cover all of their variable costs, right? Their variable costs would be this orange box right here. Okay, they're making enough total revenue to cover all of their variable costs, right? But this firm over here, this firm's variable cost is way up here, right? So this firm isn't making enough total revenue to cover their total variable costs, right? Why does that matter? Well, again, what I was saying is, right, variable costs are things like labor. There are things like raw materials. Okay, the firm on the right, they can make enough money to pay all of their employees, okay, and buy all their raw materials. The firm on the left, they can't, okay? And so as a result of that, the firm on the left is going to do what we call shut down. Now, shut down means something very specific. Shut down is when you can't cover your variable costs, okay? So you just shut down. Now, the firm on the right, they're going to stay open even though they're taking a loss because they can pay all their employees and they can buy raw materials, right? The firm on the left, if they shut down, they're going to lose all that variable costs will go to zero, right? Because they won't be operating at all. And the only thing that they'll lose is their total fixed cost. They'll just lose their fixed cost. Remember, you pay your fixed cost even when your output is zero. Whereas the firm on the right, they can pay all their variable costs. And if you notice, right, like this firm's fixed cost would be this purple rectangle right here. Notice that red rectangle overlaps that purple rectangle a little bit, right? So this firm is able to pay for some of their fixed costs as well. So the firm on the right would stay open because they can pay all their variable and a little bit of their fixed. The firm on the left would shut down because they can't pay their variable. There are plenty of examples of this, y'all. If you've ever been to the beach during the off season, what you'll notice is that like some restaurants shut down during that time, like they don't open at all. The reason why is because during the off season at the beach, they don't have a high enough demand to justify having employees work there. So they just send all their employees home and shut down for the season. And the only thing they'll lose is their fixed costs. The restaurants that stay open during the off season of the beach, they might actually be taking a loss during that time, but they make enough money to pay all their employees, buy all their raw materials, and cover a little portion of their fixed costs. So it makes sense for them to just stay open and then hope that in the summer, the demand's going to go up and they'll be able to make a big enough profit to make up for it, any kind of loss that they made. Now, understand something, both of these two companies, if their price stays below average total cost in the long run, then they're going to do what's called exit. Exit means like you close down forever, okay? But in the short run, only the firm on the left is going to shut down. Shut down is a short run decision. It's when you temporarily close, right? So that you don't have to, so you don't lose any of that variable cost, right? The firm on the right, they're going to stay open in the short run, right? But because they can cover their variable costs. So what we're looking at here, just to like make sure that you understand like what you're looking for on this firm, right? Their total revenue is less than their total variable cost. Their price is less than their average variable cost, and their average revenue is less than their average variable cost. Whereas this firm on the right has the opposite, okay? Total revenue is greater than total variable cost, right? Price is greater than average variable, and average revenue is greater than average variable cost. So that's the shutdown rule, okay?